Well, before we get on with the playthrough that you've clicked on to play, I've got some exciting news for Tinderlost Gaming. This is my very first subscriber giveaway. To celebrate Arkham Horror Chapter 2 release, I'm going to be giving away two items, two separate items, so two potential winners for a copy of Chapter 2, Arkham Horror. That's going to go to one of my lucky subscribers, and also separately I've got a copy of Film Fatale, the scenario, and I'm going to be giving that away as well. So you will be asking, what do you have to do to win these goodies? Well, all you have to do is be a subscriber and comment on one of the 3 videos that I'm going to be doing for the Brethren of Ash Chapter 2 campaign. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be releasing videos to celebrate the new chapter release. Going to be playing the Brethren of Ash scenario. And all you need to do is be a subscriber and comment and make any comment you want on the video. You can be calling me up on a rule that I get wrong, which is pretty much guaranteed. Or you can comment on how brilliant the video is, how poor the video is, whatever comment you want. And at the end of the campaign, I'll review all of the comments and obviously cross-reference about subscribers. And then I'll pick 2 lucky winners. One to win a copy of Chapter 2, the base set, and one to win a copy of Film Fatale. If you have any preference on which one you would like to win, or whether you would like to win both, maybe put that in the comment and then I can have a look and see who wants what. Because you might already have a copy of Film Fatale, but not a copy of Chapter 2, and vice versa. But, you know, I thought it'd be nice to celebrate. I had a couple of copies of Film Fatale, and I wanted to make sure. I've had it for a while now, an extra copy, and I knew I was going to be doing a subscriber giveaway for Chapter 2, so I've kept hold of it. So, 2 lucky winners, that's all you need to do. Comment on the videos. You can do more than 1 comment. I will put every comment into a lucky dip, and I will randomly pick 2 subscribers to be given these prizes. You can be anywhere in the world. I will send it anywhere you are. Anyway, hopefully that's a nice bit of exciting news, and back to the playthrough that you've clicked on. Thanks a lot. Bye. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tinderlost Gaming, and welcome to episode 1 of my playthrough of Brethren of Ash Chapter 2 campaign for Arkham Horror LCG. Been looking forward to this, been waiting for this for a while, and it's finally here. So without further ado, we're not going to get across to the table just yet. What we're going to do is we're going to get across to Arkham DB and have a look at our investigators that we're going to be taking through this campaign. So we're going to go across. Here we go. And here we are. First investigator I'm going to be using is Dexter Drake. He's a magician. He's got, can we click on that? We can click on that. He's a mystic, investigator, performer, sorcerer. He's got a willpower of 5, an intellect of 2, combat of 2, and agility of 3. 6 health and 8 sanity. And he's got a reaction after I play an asset. Either return a non-story asset you control to your hand, or play a different asset from your hand, paying its cost. Limit once per round. And his Elder Sign effect is +1. You may return a non-story asset at your location to its owner's hand. Looking forward to playing Dexter. I don't think I've ever played Dexter on the channel. I've played him in other Arkham Horror games, but I don't think I've ever played him in an LCG. So he can have Mystic cards 0 to 5. He can have Rogue cards 0 to 2 and neutral cards 0 to 5. And he's got a couple of bits and bobs in there, which we'll go through now. So here's the deck. I am playing the standard decks that come with Chapter 2. No shenanigans. I wanted to give them a try as they were out of the box. I may well in the future play different decks with different cards, but this is a full playthrough of Dexter Drake out of the box as you get him in chapter 2. So he comes with 2 broken bottles, which is an asset melee weapon, cost of 1. It's got a fight icon, and as an action you can fight. You get +1 fight for the attack, and if you succeed we can discard the broken bottle to deal +1 damage. Get 2 of those. Then we've got 2 hand crank flashlights. That's an asset hand item tool, cost 1, and it's got an intellect icon. We can investigate. You get +1 intellect for the test, and if you succeed you can discard it to get for your location to get -1 shroud until the end of the round. 2 of those. Just quickly before we go on, what I've noticed obviously is as I've been inputting these into Arkham DB, a lot of the cards you only get 1 of. And I've got to say, I'm not overly a fan of that approach. We'll see how it goes, and I'm looking forward to playing it. But generally speaking, with the way I construct decks, and I'm no expert by any means, I tend to put 2 copies of cards in, purely to give me a more, an increased chance of pulling the card. But, we'll wait and see how it goes. So we've got 1 copy of M1903 Hammerless. It's a firearm. It costs 3. It's got an agility icon. It's got 4 ammo, and we can spend an action and an ammo to fight using agility. And if the target enemy is exhausted, we can deal +1 damage to it. Okay, it's interesting. We've got 1 copy of Thieves Kit. It's a cost of 3, hand asset. Got an intellect icon, got 6 supplies on it. As an action, we can investigate it using our agility instead of intellect, and if we succeed, we gain a resource. Very nice. We've got 1 copy of Cosmic Flame. It's a spell, costs 3. It's got a strength icon and uses 3 charges. Fight with willpower. And if you succeed, you may spend 1 charge to deal +1 attack, +1 damage for this attack. If we reveal a skull token during the test, we're going to have to remove a charge from Cosmic Flame. If you can't, we take 1 damage and discard it. Interesting. We got another spell, Second Sight. I've got an intellect icon, costs 4, 3 charges, action investigate using willpower. And if we succeed, we can discover 1 additional clue at the location. And if we reveal a cultist token during the test, we have to remove a charge or take a horror and discard this card. Very nice. Our Drake weakness is the Necronomicon. It's a cursed tome asset. Revelation, put it into play in your threat area. It cannot leave play except by the action ability below. And I cannot play assets or trigger abilities on other assets you control. We've got a test 5 willpower, and if you succeed, we can discard it. If you fail, shuffle it into your deck and take 1 horror. That doesn't seem too bad. We've got a lucky charm, which is an item, blessed, cost 2. It's got a will icon, gives us 2 sanity, soak. It's got 4 charges. Spend a charge and exhaust lucky charm. Move 1 damage or horror from a card at your location to a card you control with a health or sanity value. We'll see how that plays. We got the good old lucky cigarette case. I believe this is the same as it was in chapter 1, but it costs 2. It's got a will icon, and after I succeed at a test, skill test by 2 or more, we can exhaust lucky cigarette case to draw a card. We've got 1 copy of Cloak of Resonance, body item, costs 3, got a will icon, 3 sanity soak. When horror is placed on Cloak of Resonance, exhaust it, deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. I do like that. We've got Jim Calver in there as an ally, costs 4, got a will icon, 2 health, 2 sanity soak, very nice. We get +1 willpower. And after we take damage or horror, we can exhaust him to draw a card. He would be nice to get out. Then we've got Oliver Bishop, who's a haughty art collector. He's an asset ally, costs 4, he's got an agility icon, 2 health, 1 sanity, +1 agility. But during our turn, we can exhaust Oliver to move to a connecting location. He sounds very tasty. We've got 1 copy of Silver Tongue, which is a talent, costs 2. It's got an intellect and an agility icon. And then we've got some free triggers. Spend a resource to get +1 intellect for the skill test, +2 if this is an evasion or parlay. And same thing with an agility, and we get +2 if it's an evasion or parlay. Very nice. Spiritual Intuition is a talent, costs 2, comes in with a will icon and a fight icon. Same sort of thing, but we get it for willpower and fight tests. Very nice. Then we've got Sticky Fingers, costs 1. After limit 1 per investigator, comes in with an agility icon. After you successfully evade an enemy, exhaust Sticky Fingers to gain a resource. For my next trick is Dexter Drake only. It's a spell. Search your deck for a spell or item asset and play it, reducing its cost by 2. And then shuffle your deck. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Very nice. Breaking and Entering, 1 copy of that, costs 2. It's an event, comes in with a intellect or a agility icon. Add your agility value to the skill value for this investigation, to your skill value for this investigation. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may automatically evade an enemy at this location. Again, not provoking attacks of opportunity. 2 copies of emergency cash. We get our resource. We get 3 resources. 1 copy of Paint the Town Red. 0 cost. Comes in with a will and agility icon. We can parlay. Search the top 9 cards of an encounter deck for a non-elite enemy. Draw it and gain resources equal to that enemy's printed health. Shuffle the encounter deck. Okay, interesting. 1 copy of Premonition. Mystic event, costs 0, comes in with a intellect or an agility icon. Fast play during any free trigger window. Put Premonition into play. Reveal a random chaos token from the chaos bag and seal it on Premonition. Forced. When a chaos token would be revealed from the chaos bag, resolve the token here as if it was just revealed from the chaos bag instead. There we go. Like that. Prestidigitation. It's a trick, costs 1, will icon, agility icon. It's fast, so play only during our turn. Play an item asset from your hand, reducing its cost by 2. When your turn ends, return an item asset you control to your hand. 1 copy of Ward of Protection. We can cancel a revelation, then take 1 horror. 1 copy of Will of Cosmos. Cosmos comes in with an intellect icon. Place 1 doom on a player card you control. Then discover 1 clue at your location and 1 clue at another revealed location. Very nice. Then we've got a couple of copies of Guts, a couple of copies of Manual Dexterity. We've got 1 copy of Outer Sight, which is a skill with an agility icon. If this test is successful by 2 or more, the performing investigator may disengage from each enemy and move to a revealed connecting location. 1 copy of Soul Link with 3 wild icons, but as an additional cost to play it, we have to take a horror, but you know, worth it with 3 icons. Again, using the weaknesses that came with the deck, so we've got a Paranoia, as well as the Necronomicon. So there we go. That's it for Dexter Drake. We will move across now to Joe Diamond. Joe Diamond's my second investigator. Now, Joe is a private investigator seeker, willpower of 2, intellect of 4, combat of 4, and agility of 2. Health 7, sanity 7. After we successfully investigate, draw a card, and the Elder Sign effect +1. If you succeed, draw a card and gain a resource. He comes in with Seeker cards 0 to 5, Guardian cards 0 to 2, Neutral cards 0 to 5. Very nice, strong. They do suggest playing with Joe actually in the recommended sort of area. So his deck is 1 fingerprint kit, cost of 4. It's got a intellect icon, uses 3 supplies. We can exhaust the kit, spend a supply. We investigate with +1 intellect for this investigation, and we can get an additional clue if we're successful. We've been through hand crank flashlight. We know what that does, but we've got 2 copies of that. We've got 1 local map, cost of 3 with an agility icon, 4 secrets. We can investigate using intellect. We can investigate a revealed location and we get +1. And if we succeed, you may exhaust it to move to that location. That could be quite handy. We've got an M1911, which is a firearm, cost of 3 with an agility icon, 4 ammo. Spend 1 ammo to fight. You get +1 fight and deal +1 damage for this attack. That's going to be handy. Machete, slightly different now. You get it's cost of 3 with a strength icon or fight icon. You get +1 fight for this attack. If the attacked enemy is the only enemy engaged with this attack, it deals +1 damage. I believe you have to exhaust this now to do it. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't sit waving a machete around all the time. We've got a magnifying glass, same as chapter 1. Cost of 1. We get +1 while investigating, and it's fast. We've got a bodyguard, 3 cost ally. Test. It's got an agility, a strength icon, 2 health, 1 sanity, and he can be assigned damage dealt to other investigators at our location. And when he's defeated, we get to deal 1 damage to an enemy at our location. We've got another asset ally, Dorothy Simmons, 3 cost, intellect icon, 1 sanity, 1 health, +1 intellect. And after you successfully investigate by exactly 1 or 3, exhaust Dorothy to gain a resource. Laboratory assistant, your maximum hand size, cost of 2, intellect icon, 1 sanity, 1 health, 2 sanity. We increase our hand size by 2, and after she enters play, we draw 2 cards. Then finally for allies, we've got Logan Hastings, who is a 4 cost with a fight icon, 2 health, 1 sanity, +1 fight. And after we defeat an enemy, we can exhaust Logan to gain a resource. We've got Endurance, which is a talent, cost 2, fight icon, agility icon. And in a similar vein to the cards in Dexter's deck, basically we're going to spend in resources to get +1 fight or +1 agility. And if it's an attack or an evasion, it's going to be +2. We've got his Fedora, which is a head asset, costs 2, agility icon, just straightforward, 1 health, 1 sanity. Soak, resilience, talent, costs 3, again a health and sanity soak of 2, and comes in with a willpower icon. Sharp rhetoric, costs 2, will icon, intellect icon, and this time we're going to be doing it on intellect or will, and if those are investigations or parlays, going to be slightly better. Dead ends is a weakness for Joe. Forced, when you search your deck and dead ends is among the searched cards, draw it, cancel the effects of the search and shuffle your deck. When the game ends or if you're eliminated, if this card is in your hand, you earn 2 fewer experience. I don't like that. I do not like that. Then we've got 1 card of Detective's Intuition, 0 cost, 3 icons, Will, Wild and Intellect. Joe Diamond deck only. Gain 2 resources and heal 1 damage or 1 horror. After we draw it during your turn, reveal it and draw 2 additional cards. I don't believe you get that if you are drawing it when you are doing your initial draw, because it's not your turn, as I understand it. That's the way I'm going to play it. A couple of copies of Emergency Cash, 1 copy of Gather Intel, costs 1, intellect and agility icon. Fast, play when an enemy enters your location, draw 2 cards. I like that. Lessons learned, cost 1, fight and intellect icons. Again, fast, play after an enemy attacks you, discover 1 clue at your location. That could be handy. Right tool for the job, 1 copy of that. It's a cost of 1. It's got a will intellect icon. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for a tool or weapon. Add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Scene of the crime, classic one. Play and use your first action. Discover 1 clue at your location, 2 clues. If there's an enemy at your location that it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity, it's cost 2. Comes in with an intellect and a fight icon. 1 copy of Through the Cracks, cost 3. Agility icon, and we can evade. We get +1 for the evasion for each clue you control to a maximum of 3. And if you succeed, you may disengage from each enemy engaged with you and move to a revealed location. Again, like that. Work in a hunch, costs 2. Comes in with 2 intellect icons. Again, fast. Discover a clue at your location. We've got a copy of deduction. Again, same as it was before. We get an additional clue at our location. 2 copies of overpower. 2 copies of perception. 1 copy of vicious blow. Again, same as it was before. We get to do an additional damage. And then overzealous. Draw the top card of the encounter deck, and this card or that card gains search. Right, that's a very quick run through of the decks that I'm going to be using, and now it's time to get across to the table and see what the heck is going on in Brethren of Ash. Right, here we are at the table, ready to go with our first scenario of Brethren of Ash campaign. We've got a handy dandy campaign card, so let's go through a few final bits of setup. So it's, coffee has been achieved, so we're good to go. A glorious rebirth. Arkham has always been a little strange. It seems like every time you read the news, there's a fresh report of some gruesome murder or sudden disappearance. A battered corpse in the waterfront district. A missing police officer in French Hill. A bloody sigil drawn in the alley behind Velma's diner. The city has its share of crackpots and conspiracy theorists, sure. But even the most level-headed observer can't ignore the facts. There's something wrong with this city. However, most folks in Arkham don't like to dwell on the bad. In the wake of the flood 6 months ago, the city is building itself back stronger than ever, with new money pouring in from outside investors. They say that everything's on the up and up, and it sure looks like it. But you know, there's always something more to the story. Whatever lies ahead, you don't have to face it alone. There are others like you who have encountered similar horrors and who won't settle for easy explanations or comforting distractions. They too know that there is something to this city's ancient curses and witch legends. Will you stand with them against the evils that lurk behind mortal understanding? Or will you succumb, as many have, to the terrors of the mythos? Well, let's pack it all in. I don't need to worry about the mythos. Let's all go home. No, we're standing against the mythos. So, campaign setup. First one, choose investigators. I have chosen my investigators, Dexter and Joe. Dexter is the lead investigators. We then assemble our investigator decks, which is what I've got here. Now, we are contractually obliged to do what's called a cat weasel cut, or I am contractually obliged to do a cat weasel cut. For those long-time subscribers, hopefully you'll understand and know what I mean by a cat weasel cut. I have explained it in previous videos, but for those that haven't, a very quick explanation. There is a cat weasel cut. Cat Weasel is a guy that plays a lot of Arkham Horror based games on his channel, and I thoroughly enjoy watching him, and I'd suggest you go over and have a look at all the stuff that he does. Very in-depth and very good. That's our investigators' final Cat Weasel cut for those. Bosh. Choose the difficulty level. We are going to be playing on standard. The chaos bag is set up for standard. And it says now you are ready to set up scenario 1. Spreading flames. Strange things are afoot in the city of Arkham. A recent spate of fires and grisly accidents have the entire city on edge. While the Arkham Advertiser has offered a few flimsy explanations, you and your associates are not so sure. Robed figures have been sighted near these odd happenings, and your mutual friend is convinced that they are to blame. You agree to meet your friend at your friend's dormitory at Miskatonic University to try and get to the bottom of things. However, when you arrive, your friend's room is empty and the dormitories are strangely quiet. Hopefully, with my t-shirt, I'm going to be lucky. Miskatonic University. We're there. Setup. Gather all cards from the following encounter sets, which is what I've done. We'll give that a shuffle on screen as well, just to make sure there are no shenanigans. And a third contractual cat weasel cut. That's our encounter deck done. Put your friend's room location into play, which is what I've done. Set each other location aside out of play. Each investigator begins at your friend's room. Set all 5 copies of Fire Treachery card aside out of play, along with the Dr. Henry Armitage story asset and the Servant of Flame enemy. Shuffle the remaining encounter cards through and create the encounter deck. You are now ready to begin play. Excellent. Chaos cut bag can go off to one side for a sec. We will have another swig of coffee. Let's have a look at the scenario card. Scenario card states, playing on easy standard, the skull is -X, where X is the current act number. That's fine. The tablet is -1. Reveal another token. If you fail, take 1 damage. And the Elder Thing is -3. If you fail by 2 or more, draw the topmost copy of Fire in the encounter discard pile if able. So what are we actually trying to do? Let's have a look at our Act 1A, where there's smoke. You're searching the dormitories for any sign of your friend. Objective. At the end of the round, investigators may spend the requisite clues as a group to advance. We're playing as 2-player, so that's going to be 4 clues that we need to advance that act. And then we've got Agenda 1, past curfew. The campus is strangely quiet and there is no sign of your friend. Hooded figures cross the quad as nervous students scurry under painfully bright street lamps. Action, parlay, test intellect 2. If you succeed, discard a bystander enemy at your location. Okay. Let's get our opening hands. We'll start off with Dexter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have got a Lucky Charm, a Manual Dexterity, a Jim Calver, a Sticky Fingers, and a Hand Crank Flashlight. Well, I don't think Dexter's really going to be our clover, so we can ditch the Hand Crank Flashlight. Sticky Fingers I don't need at the moment. That's after evading an enemy. I do like Jim Culver, +1 will, and he can take damage. After I take damage, I can exhaust all horror. We can exhaust him to draw a card. 2 and 2. I like him. He's 4. Manual Dexterity, I'm not overly fussed with at this point. And Lucky Charm, Uses 4 charges, 2 cost, spend a charge and exhaust lucky charm. Move 1 damage or horror from a card at your location to a card you control. With health or sanity. I like that. So I think I'm going to keep those 2 and I'll draw 3 more. So we're going to draw a Paint the Town red, a Cloak of Resonance, and for my next trick. Okay, well those are the cards we've got. Those are the cards we have got. Put those in and then we will do a cheeky shuffle. Oh, why is that on upkeep? We're on, shouldn't be on there, should be on there. There we go. Cat Weasel Cut. So those are our cards for Dexter. I don't know why I'm shuffling Joe Diamond again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got a magnifying glass, handy, an emergency cache, handy, lessons learned, that's an enemy, overpower, and an overzealous. We'll draw 1 more for overzealous. We've got a fedora. I'm going to keep magnifying glass, emergency cache, and fedora and draw 2 more. We're going to get through the cracks and we're going to get a perception. It's not too shabby. Not too shabby. Give those a shuffle. Cat Weasel Cut. And I think we're ready to go. I think we're ready to go. So let's flip over your friend's room. Okay, 2 shroud, 2 clues per investigator. So it comes in with 4 on it. For anybody that wants to know, I'm using tokens from LCG tokens on Etsy. Very, very good. So we've got an action on the friend's room. Choose an enemy at a connecting location. That enemy moves to this location and engages you. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Okay. So let's have a look at Dexter. So first action, I'm going to play an asset, a lucky charm. Comes in with 4 charges. Costing me 2 to play, down to 3. I think I'm going to save that. But Dexter Drake's special ability. After you play an asset, either return a non-story asset you control to your hand or play a different asset from your hand, paying its cost. So I will then pay 3 to play a Cloak of Resonance. So that's effectively a free play. So I've still got 2 actions left. Second action, I think I'm going to gain a resource, so up to 1. And then my third action, I'm going to play for my next trick. Dexter Drake only. Search your deck for a spell or item asset and play it, reducing its cost by 2. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. So I could spend, I've got 1 in the bank and it's down to 2. So I could find something for 3. Let's have a look. Second sight is 4 cost. Cosmic Flame is 3. That could be nice. I'm looking at stuff that costs 3. Thieves Kit is 3. That's an asset. Oh. It has to be an item asset. Oh, no, a spell. Spell or item asset. So it could be Thieves Kit. Could be Hammerless. I think Cosmic Flame feels like the play. I think because I'm fighting with my willpower. I'm now on willpower 5. Yeah. Reducing its cost by 2, so it's down to 1, so I'll pay 1. That goes into my discard pile. These will then get shuffled. I can't play another asset because Dexter's ability only allows him to do it once per round. So we'll do a Cat Weasel Cut. And we'll bring Cosmic Flame into play. That comes in with 3 charges. We'll use these because these are a bit more mysticky. And that's my 3 actions for Dexter. Very nice. We've got a Jim Calver and a Paint the Town Red left. Right, what's Joe doing? What is Joe doing? He hasn't got too much of a setup, to be honest with you. So I think first things first, we're going to pay or play an emergency cash to gain 3 resources. So we're up to 8. First action. Second action, we'll pay 1 down to 7 to put a magnifying glass into play. Third action, pay 2, so down to 5 to put his fedora into play. A little bit of a setup. Not got any clues this turn, but it's always plenty of time. And that's Joe Diamond done. Moving to the enemy phase. No enemies in play. So we move straight across to the upkeep phase. Reset our actions. We get our actions back. We flip our cards over. Ready all exhausted cards. We draw a card and gain a resource. So Dexter is going to draw into an emergency cache. Gets his resource. Joe is going to draw into a machete. And he gets a resource up to 6. We check our hand size. Dexter's got 3. Joe has got 3. We're all good. We then move into the very lovely Mythos phase. First things first, we place 1 doom on the agenda, so 1 of 3. No doom threshold met, so we move on to the next stage, which is each investigator draws an encounter card. We'll start off with Dexter. Dexter is going to draw a noxious smoke. Revelation, test will or agility 3. Take 1 damage for each point if you fail by it. So we are currently will 5. Five versus 3. I think I'm all right with that. I think I'm all right with 5 versus 3. Let's see how the chaos bag is being. -4. Okay. That's how the chaos bag is being. Take 1 damage for each point you fail by. Oh, made a bit of a mistake there. So I was 5, -4. So I failed by 2. Because I'm down to 5, -4 down to 1. I needed a 3, so I failed by 2. Take 1 damage for each point you fail by. Oh, God. That was a bit of a mistake. But -4, what can I do? What can I do? So 2 damage on Dexter. 1. 2. Down to 4. Ouch. Didn't like that. Did not like noxious smoke. We'll draw a card for Joe Diamond. Joe is going to get mutated. Revelation, test will 2. This test gets +2 difficulty if there is an enemy at your location. If you fail, you must either take 2 damage or each investigator at your location takes 1 horror. So test will of 2. I'm a will of 2. Jeez. Nothing that can help us. Dexter can help us. Dexter will chuck in a paint the town red to make me will 3. 3 versus 2. Come on. Come on, chaos bag. 3 versus 2. We pass with a 0. That's more like it. Chaos bag has warmed up. Okay, that's it for the Mythos phase. We go to the investigating phase. We'll start off with Dexter, I think. Oh, mutated goes into the discard pile. We'll start off with Dexter. First action. He'll play an emergency cash to give him 3 resources, up to 4. Second action, going to draw a card. He gets a prestidigitation. Fast. Play only during your turn. Play an item asset from your hand, reducing its cost by 2. When your turn ends, return an item asset you control to your hand. Well, I don't really want to do that at the moment, so I'll keep hold of that. And then the third action, we'll spend 4, so down to 0, to play a Jim Calver. Gives us +1 will, and we can, after we take damage or horror, exhaust him to draw a card. That's Dexter done. Right, I really need to crack on getting these clues now. So that's what Jim's going to do. First action. We're going to investigate. We're going to play a perception. So we are 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 2. 7 versus 2. -1. We're at agenda 1. Act 1, sorry. So we get a clue. Jim gets a clue. Bosh. And also, because of perception, we get to draw a card. Oh, yeah, of course we do. We draw into a weakness. Right, okay. So we've drawn Overzealous. Draw the top card of the encounter deck. That card gains Search. So we're going to draw the top card of the encounter deck. That's a Cantor of Flame. 2 fight, 2 health, 2 to evade. It's got retaliate on it. It's a humanoid cultist. So that comes in engaged with Joe. Hits for 1 health. That card gains Search. We draw another encounter card. We get Unspeakable Truths. So Terror, Revelation. Put Unspeakable Truths into play into your threat area. Limit 1 per investigator. Forced. After you discover 1 or more clues, take 1 horror. 2 actions to discard Unspeakable Truths. Ugh. Well, I suppose it was good to get Overzealous out sooner rather than later. Oh, that's annoying. I can't hit the Cantor of Flames at the moment. 4 versus 2 though. Okay. We could do that. Second action. I'm going to spend 3, so down to 3, to put in a machete. Let's move these across a little bit, create a bit of space for the good old machete. That does produce an attack of opportunity for the Cantor of Flames that hits me for 1. I'll put that on the fedora. The fedora goes. Third action, I'm going to fight with the machete. So I'll exhaust the machete. Oh, don't have to do that just yet because that's only if it's successful. So fighting, I get +1 fight for the attack. So I'm now fight 5. And fight 5. against the Cantor of Flames. 5 versus 2. It's got retaliate, so hopefully we hit. 5 versus 2. -2. On that basis, we will exhaust the machete to do the additional damage. So that's 2 damage to it. Kills it. No retaliate for you, Cantor of Flame. But that was my third action. Ooh. Okay. We go to the enemy phase. There's no more enemies in play. We go to the upkeep phase. We reset our actions. Turn our cards over. Ready any exhausted cards. Machete gets readied. We draw a card. So Dexter is going to draw a ward of protection. He will gain a resource as well. So up to 1. Joe is going to draw a detective's intuition. And he will gain a resource. Joe Diamond deck only, gain 2 resources and heal 1 damage and 1 horror. After you draw Detective's Intuition during your turn, reveal it and draw 2 additional cards. Is the upkeep phase considered my turn? Going to need to pause that for a sec. No, just wanted to double check that, but it's not the upkeep phase is not considered your turn. Your turn is where you can play actions. But I just wanted to just double check it. I was going to bug me otherwise. So that's that. Gain a resource. So that is it for the upkeep phase. We go to the mythos phase. We put 2 doom or 1 doom on to make it 2 of 3. We check the threshold. We're good. We go to drawing cards. So Dexter is going to draw Forbidden Secrets. It's a pact revelation. If you have no clues, Forbidden Secrets gains surge. Otherwise, test intellect 3 for each point you fail. You must either place. Oh, so it's going to gain surge. So that goes. Oops. We've got a Cantor of Flames, which we know what that does. 2 cost, that's 2 fight, 2 health, 2 agility, humanoid cultist. Engages with Dexter. Well, that's handy. And then Joe's card is going to be a mutated experiment. 3 fight, 3 health, 3 to evade. Forced. When this enemy is defeated, each investigator at its location takes a horror. Ouch. This is quite hard. I haven't even got out of my friend's room yet. Blinking Nora. Right. Okay. On to my phase. What are we going to do? Oh, hang on a sec. Sorry. Oh, I knew it. Right. I should have done. I'm going to backtrack quickly. I'm gonna ward of protection the Cantor of Flame. Sorry, should have done that. I haven't played Arkham Horror for a while, so I'm gonna do a quick hot tub time machine. Play fast when you withdraw non-weakness treachery cards. cancel that revelation and take 1 horror. I will put the 1 horror onto the Cloak of Resonance, and I will deal then 1 damage to an... Oh no, that mutated experiment wouldn't have been in play when that happened. So forget that. I can't do that because doing it in player order, I've drawn the Cantor of Flame. And yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So I will take a horror and I'll put that on Jim. I'll put the horror on Jim. Or no, actually. Right, just wanted to check. So from Ward of Protection, it says cancel the card and cancel the card's revelation effects and take 1 horror. So the horror is assigned to, or I take the horror and then I'm going to assign it to Jim. The reason why I wanted to check that because is after you take damage or horror, exhaust Jim Calver to draw 1 card. Because I've still taken the horror but I've assigned it to Jim, I'm going to exhaust him to draw a card. I get a lucky cigarette case. Excellent. Okay, right, back to my turn. Right, I'm thinking of some shenanigans here. So it's my turn. First thing I'm going to do is Lucky Charm. It's a free trigger. Spend 1 charge and exhaust Lucky Charm. So I'm going to spend a charge and I'm going to exhaust Lucky Charm. Move 1 damage or horror from a card at your location to a card you control. I'm going to move a horror from Jim Calver to Cloak of Resonance. When horror is placed on Cloak of Resonance, exhaust it. Deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. I'll deal 1 damage to the mutated experiment. Excellent. I like that. I like that. So for my first action with Dexter, I'm going to engage the mutated experiment. For my second action, I'm going to fight it with a cosmic flame. So if it uses willpower, so I'm 5 versus 3. We'll make it 6 versus 3 with a prestidigitation. 6 versus 3. Six versus 3. -2. We do it. Oh, sorry. If you succeed, you may spend 1 charge, which I've already spent, to do +1 damage. I didn't reveal a skull token, so that does 2 damage to the mutated experiment, killing it. When this enemy is defeated, each investigator at its location takes 1 horror. That's annoying. So poor old Jim is going to have to take a horror, down to 6. And Jim Calver is going to take the horror for Dexter. So that's my second action. My third action. going to gain a resource. That's it for Dexter. Right. 2 actions from Joe to remove unspeakable truths. That's got to go. 3rd action, we're going to investigate my friend's room. We are 2 versus 5. 2 versus 5. 2 versus 5. -1. Act 1. So we get a clue. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. And that's it. God, I'm not even out of the friends room and the blinking agenda's going to pop. Okay. We go on to the enemy phase. There are no enemies in play now. We go to the upkeep phase. We ready all of our cards. We get our actions back. Flip over. Dexter is going to draw a card and Dexter is going to get a silver tongue. That's quite nice. That's quite nice. Gain a resource up to 2. Joe's going to get a card. He's going to get a laboratory assistant. And he's going to get up to 5. Wowzers. We are going to hit 3 mythos on the agenda. This feels like I'm behind. It feels like I'm behind. So let's see what this says. Smoke on the wind. The wind carries the scent of smoke from across campus. A plume of flames rises from the nearby building. In player order, each investigator tests will 3. Each investigator who fails takes 1 horror. So we'll start off with Dexter. I am 5 versus 3, 6 versus 3 because Jim's in play. 6 versus 3. -3. He passes. Now Joe Diamond. I don't really want to be chucking these away. So I'm 2 versus 3. 2 versus 3. Need a +1. We get a -1. We take a horror. Down to 5. And now we are on lit up. The smoke glows a faint orange as the flames spread. Parlay, action, test intellect 2. If you succeed, discard a bystander enemy from your location. 5 doom on it. Oh, come on, let's get this thing going. Right, we're drawing cards for the mythos phase. Dexter is going to get a hellhound. 2 fight, 3 health, 4 to evade. Hunter. After hellhound attacks you during the enemy phase, choose and discard 1 asset you control. He engages Dexter. I'm going to save that for the time being, I think. Yeah. Then I'm going to draw a card for Joe Diamond. He's going to get a bystander. Okay. 1/1/1. Doomed. When this enemy is defeated, place 1 doom on the current agenda. This can affect the current agenda to advance. Okay. Okay. That wasn't too bad. Hmm. I think I'm going to start off with Joe Diamond. First action, he's going to investigate at 5 versus 2. 5 versus 2. 5 versus 2. -1, reveal another token. Oh, God. Hey! If you succeed, draw 1 card and gain a resource. So we're at -1. So we do succeed. We do succeed, which first of all means we get the clue, which is excellent. 3 clues for Joe. We gain a resource and we draw a card. We get scene of the crime. Discover 1 clue at your location, 2 clues if there is an enemy at your location. But we can only play that as a first action. Second action. Second action, we're going to investigate. 5 versus 2. 5 versus 2 -3. We still pass, just. And then we get 4 clues. Thank the Lord. And then we're going to attempt to parlay 5 versus 2. 5 versus 2. We'll stick with 5 versus 2. 0. We pass. We manage to parlay and get rid of the bystander. Good work, Joe. Eventually we got there. Now, Dexter's going to have to try and deal with this hellhound. So we'll fight it using the cosmic flame. And we will be at fight 6 versus 2. 6 versus 2. -1. We will spend a charge. Ah, hang on. I did draw. I did. No, I didn't. That's fine. We'll spend a charge to do the additional damage, doing 2 damage to the hellhound. That's my first action. Second action. I think it'd be nice to get Silver Tongue into play. Oh, lucky cigarette case. Second action. We'll play the lucky cigarette case. Third action. or gain a resource. That's it. That is it. Okay. We go to the, sorry, there we go. We go to the enemy phase. No enemies in play, don't need to worry about it. We go to the upkeep phase. We reset our actions. Fall back, fall back. Ready any exhausted cards. We go draw a card. Dexter is going to get a premonition. And gains a resource. Joe is going to get a Dorothy Simmons and he gains a resource. That's the check our hand size before. At the end of the round, we are going to spend 4 clues before we go into the mythos phase, but we're going to spend 4 clues. 1, 2, 3, 4. To finally advance the act. So it says, there's fire. You find your friend's satchel scorched with a stylized emblem with an open palm. Wherever your friend is, you imagine they didn't go too willingly. As you turn to leave, you are confronted by a masked figure wreathed in flame. As the room erupts in flames around you, they let out a chilling wail. Discard each enemy in play. Put the set-aside dormitories and Miskatonic's quad locations into play. Spawn the set-aside Servant of Flame enemy at the dormitories. Attached 1 set-aside copy of Fire to your friend's room. Place each other set-aside copy of Fire in the encounter discard pile. Right, bear with me for 2 seconds while I do all of that. Okay, we're done setting up. We've put the dormitories into play and the Miskatonics quad. The Servant of Flame is at the dormitories. It was right, wasn't it? Yeah. And then the fire tokens are the fire in the discard pile. So dormitories, Servant of Flames. 4 fight, 10 health because of 2 investigators, 4 to evade. He's got Hunter, Prey, the lowest agility, which is going to be Joe, and Retaliate. He's got Victory 2. That's quite nice. The friends room's on fire. Fire says attach fire to the nearest location without fire attached. Forced. When an investigator phase ends, each non-elite enemy or non-elite card with health at this location is or takes 1 direct damage. Test agility 3. If you succeed, discard fire. Okay. We are now in the mythos phase because that was the end of the round. We put 1 doom onto the agenda, 1 of 5. Dexter is going to draw his card. He is going to draw a wild compulsion. Revelation, test will 3. For each point you fail, you must either discard 1 card at random from your hand or lose 1 resource. So I'm currently will 6 versus 3. I'm not going to chuck anything in. 6 versus 3. -1. So that makes us 5 versus 3. We pass. We pass. We'll leave that in play, but we will exhaust because we succeeded at a skill test by 2 or more. We will exhaust the lucky cigarette case to draw a card, and we'll draw Thieves' Kit. Then Joe needs to test. He is will 2. God. I am going to put in a laboratory assistant and detective's intuition to give me 1, 2, 3. So I'm 5 versus 3. 5 versus 3. -3. So we lose by 1. We lose by 1. I'll lose a resource. Lost by 1. Either discard a card at random from your hand or lose 1 resource. For each point you fail, I lost by 1. I can take that. Okay. That was it, wasn't it? Oh no, that was Dexter's card. Joe's card is going to be Unspeakable Truths. Okay, really doesn't want Joe to be getting clues. So we go across to the investigator phase, or investigation phase. Now we could draw the Servant of the Flame to us. 10 health. Is there any way that Dexter could evade it? So we'd be 4 versus 4, 5 versus 4. Or we could spend Silver Tongue. 5 versus 4, 6 versus 4. 6 versus 4. 7 versus 4. Okay, I think that's what we're going to do. First action for Dexter, pay 1. Or 1 action, pay 2. No, no, no. No, no, no. So I'm working this through. So what I'm thinking of doing is engaging it with, say, Dexter. So first action would be to move it across. That's my first action. Second action is to try and evade it on 3. 4, 5. 6 versus 4. 6 versus 4. I could be at 6 versus 4. And then that, if I pass, that leaves me then an action to move out. But it's 6 versus 4. It's not great. Or spend an action to play Silver Tongue. But then that doesn't give me the resource. No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to try it. First action is to choose an enemy at a connecting location. That enemy moves towards us, engages you. So Servant of Flame is going to move in and engage Dexter. Second action, I'm going to attempt to evade it I'm currently 3. I'm currently 3. I will put in a silver tongue and a premonition to make me 5. And Joe's going to chuck in a through the cracks to make me 6. 6 versus 4. 6 versus 4. -2. We pass. Servant of the Flame is exhausted. Third action, Dexter's going to move across to the dormitories. 3 shroud, 2 clues per 1 clue per investigator, so 2 clues on there. That's Dexter done. Joe Diamond, first action is going to be a move across to the dormitories. And then 2 actions, discard unspeakable truths. That's it. Enemy phase. Enemy's doing nothing because he's exhausted. They don't ready yet. We go into enemy phase, nothing happens because he's exhausted. We go into the upkeep phase. We reset our actions. We ready all exhausted cards. Servant of the Flames readies. He's an elite enemy, so he's not going to take any damage from the fire. We ready our lucky cigarette case as well. We draw a card and gain a resource. So Dexter's going to draw, oh God almighty, the Necronomicon. Revelation, put the Necronomicon into play in your threat area. It cannot leave play except for the action below. You cannot play assets or trigger abilities on other assets you control. Action, test will 5. If you succeed, then discard the Necronomicon. If you fail, shuffle it into your deck and take 1 horror. Gain a resource. Joe Diamond's going to get working a hunch and a resource. That's very handy. Working a hunch is very handy. We check our hand size, we're all good. We go to the mythos phase. We put a doom on the agenda, 2 of 5. We draw a card for Dexter. Extraplanar visions. Test will or intellect X, where X is the number of cards. I've got 1. If you fail, take 1 damage and discard 1 card at random from your hand. So we are currently 1 versus 5, 6. Act 2, we pass. Joe's card. Noxious smoke. Oh, I don't like that. Test will or agility 3. Well, both 2. Take 1 point for each point you fail by. Oh, God. I've got nothing in my hand that can help. Will or agility. Can Dexter help with a thieves kit? No, he can't. So I'll go will. 3. God, this could be nasty. 3 versus 2. -4. Oh my God, that's the second time I pulled -4 for that noxious smoke. 3 damage. 3 damage. Ouch. Noxious smoke, man. 1. 2. 3. Down to 4. Ouch. Need to get some soak in, buddy. We need to get some soak in. Could have been worse. Could have been slightly worse. Right. Dexter or Joe? First action for Dexter. I want to try and get rid of this Necronomicon, but I'm 6 versus 5. I've got no cards to play. I'm just going to try it. 6 versus 5 as an action. Six versus 5. 0. We get it. We discard the Necronomicon. That was good. That was good. That was my first action. Second action. I'm going to spend 3 to play Thieves' Kit. Comes in with 6 supplies on it. Let's use these ones. 6 supplies. I'm not going to need him just yet. Third action, I'm going to draw a card. Emergency cash. Nice. Nice. I haven't been using Dexter's ability because I hadn't got the money or assets to play, just as an FYI. But that is it for... Oh, did Dexter want to move? Actually, no. I'm not going to play Thieves' Kit. No. I'm not going to draw a card, sorry. I'll put that back on top. Didn't mean to do that. Third action is to move across to the Miskatonic quad. 1 shroud, no clues on it. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I was always planning to move to get away from the Servant of Flame. What was I doing? Okay, that is it for Dexter now. Now, Jim. Jim. First thing I'm going to do is pay 2, down to 5. Fast action, working a hunch. Play only during your turn. Discover 1 clue at your location. Thank you very much, dormitories. 1 clue for Jim. Hasn't used an action yet, so I will spend 2 down to 3. For his first action, discover 1 clue at your location, 2 clues if there is an enemy at your location, but I'm only going to get the 1 clue. 2 clues for Jim. That was my first action. My second action is to pay 3 for Dorothy Simmons. She gives me +1 book or intellect, and after I successfully investigate by exactly 1 or 3, exhaust Dorothy Simmons to gain a resource. My third action, I'm going to be able to move across to the Miskatonic Quad. And then that triggers Act 2. If each undefeated investigator is at Miskatonic Quad, advance. Hint, sometimes it's better to fight than run. So we're going to flip this one over. And this is going to say, in the open. You emerge from the dormitories, lungs bursting into the crisp autumn evening. Looking behind, there is no trace of your pursuer. You remember your friend planned to consult Miskatonic University's head librarian, Henry Armitage. He may be able to help you understand what's going on. Search all in-play and out-of-play areas for the Servants of Flame. Heal all damage from them and set them aside out of play. So Servant of Flame is going to go. Discard each enemy in play. No other enemies. Discard all tokens and attachments from your friend's room and remove it from the game. Put each remaining set-aside location, Orne Library, Science Hall, Warren Conservatory into play. Okay, bear with me. All right, there we go. We're in the Miskatonic Quad and we're connected to the dormitories, the Warren Observatory, the Science Hall and the Orne Library. They only connect back to the Miskatonic Quad. I can't remember if I've read that, but as a free action during your turn, if there are exactly 1 or 2 investigators in the game, move to a connecting location. Group limit once per round. That's fine. Then we're on Act 3A, which is searching for Dr. Armitage. Your friend has mentioned the head librarian, Dr. Henry Armitage. With more and more strange figures arriving, you must scour the campus for his whereabouts. At the end of the round, investigators at Orne Library may spend the requisite clues as a group to advance. We need 6. We've got 2 already. Okay. We're all good to go. We're on Act 3. We need to remember that for the skulls. Oh, that was sorry, that was the investigation phase. We're now on the enemy phase. No enemies in play anymore now. We're on to upkeep. We ready any exhausted cards. We get our actions back. We draw a card for Dexter. He is going to get, obviously, emergency cash. He's going to gain a resource. Joe is going to get a bodyguard and he's going to get a resource. We're okay for hand size. I've only got 1 card in each hand. We go to the Mythos phase. We're now at 3 of 5. Dexter is going to draw his encounter card. We have got Cosmic Evils. Peril. You must choose one. Either place 1 doom on the current agenda. This effect can cause the agenda to advance. Take 1 direct damage and 1 direct horror. Cosmic events. Evils gain surge. Oh, do you know what? It's just going to go on the... I know I'm losing a turn, but that's going to go on there, I think, is the best play. Joe's card is going to be Mutated. Test Will 2. This gets +2 difficulty if there's an enemy at your location. There isn't. Will 2. I am Will 2. Got nothing to help. Come on. Yes. Yes. +1. We succeed. We draw a card and gain a resource. Boom. Hand crank flashlight. Okay. Mutated goes. What do we want to do? Well, we want to try and get some blinking clues is what we want to do. I mean, Dexter's now still not great at investigating. What do I do? Well, dormitories we've already rinsed, so we don't need to worry about that. Who's going to get... Well, I mean, obviously, Joe Diamond is the boy for getting clues. So Joe's going to go first, and he's going to use the free action here. Group limit once per round to move to a connecting location. He'll move down to the Warren Observatory for a free action. Comes in with 2 clues on it. Shroud of 3. After you discover 1 or more clues at this location, draw a card. So I'm 6 versus 3. I don't think I'm ever going to be playing the hand crank flashlight, so I'll make it 7 versus 3. 7 versus 3. -4. Good job I did. 7 versus 3. We get it. We get it. Bosh. 3 clues, halfway there. So that was my first action, was to investigate. Second action is to investigate again. But this is 6 versus 3. Oh, after you successfully investigate by 1 or 3, didn't. It was bang on. So 6 versus 3. Oh, -2. 6 versus 3. So we're down to 4 versus 3. We get it. And we are ahead by 1. So we'll exhaust Dorothy to give us a resource. And then for my third action, I am going to move back to the Miskatonic Quad. What's Dexter doing? What's Dexter doing? So that's Jim, that's Joe, all done. First action is going to be to move to the Orne Library. See what's down there. Oh, Shroud of 4. 2 clues. That's not good. But 2 actions here. That was my first action. 2 actions to draw 3 cards. One limit once per game. I'm going to do that. 2 actions, draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. We've got hand crank flashlight, a soul link, and a spiritual intuition. That's Dexter done. That is Dexter done. Okay. Enemy phase, no enemies in play. Upkeep phase. We get our actions back. Get our actions back. Exhaust, unexhaust any cards. Dorothy gets unexhausted. We draw a card. Dexter is going to get an M190 Hammerless. Okay. We gain a resource. Joe is going to get an M19. Gains a resource. Okay. We're okay for hand size. We go to the Mythos phase. This is going to flip. We're at 5. Not liking this. Not liking this. So this is going to go. Uncontrollable fire. Cinders fly through the air above Miskatonic University. The wall of the wail of fire alarms resounds across the quad to dozens of frightened students from the scene. Flee from the scene. If there are still set aside 4 copies of fire, there aren't. They're in the discard pile. In player order, each investigator tests agility 3. Each investigator who fails takes 1 damage. Oh, God. Agility 3. 3 here and 2 here. Let's start off with Dexter. So we will play a Soul Link. As an additional cost to commit Soul Link, take 1 horror. We'll put the 1 horror on the Lucky Charm. So we're now at 6 versus 3. 6 versus 3, 0. We're good. We are good. 2 versus 3. We can make it 3 versus 3. With the M19, 3 versus 3. Do I want to get rid of that? Am I ever going to use it? I think I am going to might use it. So I'm going to go 3 versus 2. 3 versus 2 plus 1, which means we equal it. We succeed. Joe, man, you are doing the trick. We get a perception and we gain a resource. Okay. And then we're up to Wild Flames. We can parlay with bystanders as per normal. Forced. After doom is placed on the agenda, the lead investigator draws the topmost copy of fire in the encounter discard pile. It's got 10 doom on it. Ooh. Right. Now we're drawing Mythos cards. We're drawing one for Dexter. He's going to get a wild compulsion. Test will 3 for each point you fail by. So I'm currently will 6. 6 versus 3. We'll make it 7 versus 3 with a spiritual intuition. 7 versus 3. -4. Again. 7 versus 3. I'm glad I played the intuition. Oh, right. And then Joe's card. Cosmic Evils. I'm going to put 1 doom on the agenda. I'd take the horror and the sanity. Sorry, the sanity and the damage. But I'm not going to get surge. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. It's the surge bit on that card that's the killer. Okay, investigation phase. I'm not liking the 4 shroud there. I'm at 6 versus 4. Okay. That's 8 versus 4. Okay, well, no, okay, we could try it. We could try it. I'm going to start off with Dexter. First action is to get his emergency cash, taking me up to 7 resources. Boom, that's done. Second action, I'm going to play his, for 3, so back down to 4, his M1930, M1903 Hammerless comes in with 4 ammo. I really need to get his agility up. But he's got some fight there if he needs it. Third action, draw a card. Second sight. Now that's good. Bugger. That's good. Oh, I couldn't have played the lucky cigarette case. No, apologies. Got 2 necklaces out. Sorry, I just spotted that. I think I only got 1 card off lucky cigarette case, so it's not too bad. My apologies. Lack of game experience. And that was Dexter's third thing. On to Joe. Once per round, he's going to move down for 3 to the Orne Library. So his first action is going to be to investigate. And we will play a perception. So we're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 versus 4. 8 versus 4. -2. 8 versus 4. That's 6 versus 4. We don't get a Dorothy, but we do get that. I haven't been drawing a card either. After you successfully investigate, draw a card. Oh my goodness. People have been shouting at the screen, but I've successfully investigated. And because I draw dead ends. Oh, dear, oh dear. We've got 5 clues now. Dead End says, forced. When you search your deck and Dead Ends is among the search cards, draw it and cancel the effects of the search and shuffle the card. Forced. When the game ends or you are eliminated, if this card is in your hand, you earn 2 fewer experience. There's no way I can get rid of it. I can't discard it out of my hand. It stays in my hand now. Second action, investigate again. 4, 5, 6 versus 4, but Dexter will help with a hand crank flashlight for 7 versus 4. 7 versus 4. Seven versus 4, 0. We do succeed by 3, so we get the clue. And we gain a resource by exhausting Dorothy. Now, third action. I am thinking of replacing the machete with the M1911. The reason for that is obviously machete get +1 fight, same as the M19. The attached enemy is the only enemy engaged with you. You exhaust it to deal +1 damage. So although it's there all the time, you only sort of get 1 hit with it. So I am going to spend 3 down to 3. I'm going to replace the machete with the M19. M1911 comes in with 4 ammo. Could be a mistake, might not be. That was my third action. That was my third action. Okay. That's it for the investigation phase. We go to the enemy phase. No enemies in play. We go to the upkeep phase. We get our actions back. We draw a card. We're ready in the exhausted cards. Dorothy gets readied. Dexter's going to draw a hand crank flashlight and he's going to get a resource. Dexter is going to draw a local map and he's going to get a resource. That's it for the upkeep phase. We go to the mythos phase. We go to 2 of 10. Oh no, before we go to the mythos phase, at the end of the round, investigators at the Orne Library can spend the requisite clues as a group to advance. We've got 6 clues. We'll spend all 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bosh. Trying to get ahead of myself there. Six clues to advance the act. It says, you found Dr. Armitage barricaded in one of the Lawrence Library's lecture halls. Some on campus have been acting strange lately, your friend among them. But of all of that can wait. We must confront your pursuer and stop them before the entire campus burns, Dr. Armitage says. Put the set-aside Dr. Armitage's story asset into play under any investigator's control. It does not take an ally slot up during this scenario. Put the set-aside Servant of Flame enemy into play at the Miskatonic Quad. Place 3 clues on the Miskatonic Quad. The lead investigator must search the encounter deck and the discard pile for 1 copy of fires and draw them. Okay, let's try and do that. Set aside Dr. Armitage. He is, it gives us +1 will, +1 intellect. The first action you perform each round does not provoke attacks of opportunities. And these are 3/3. Who are we going to give him to? While I'm thinking about that, the Servant of the Flame comes into the Miskatonic Quad, and we put 6 clues onto the Miskatonic Quad. There we go. Right, Dr. Henry Armitage. I think I'm going to give him to Joe Diamond. Yeah. And then the lead investigator searches the encounter deck and the discard pile for 1 copy of fires. Well, we know the copy of fire is in here. We'll get one out. There's 1 copy. Fire says, attach fire to the nearest location without fire. Sugar. Forgot that. Anyway, we'll come back to it in a sec. So fire's going to go onto the Orne Library. Okay, there we go. That's good. And then we're on to Act 4A, Blaze of Glory. Your fiery nemesis cannot be allowed to hurt more innocents. With Dr. Armitage's help, perhaps you can stop them. As a free action or free trigger, spend 2 clues as a group, deal 2 damage to an enemy or your location. Or we can resign as an action, you flee the burning campus. Objective, if the Servant of the Flame is defeated, advance. Okay. And then we go to the Mythos phase. We place a Doom on the agenda. And this is what I forgot earlier. After Doom is placed on the agenda, the lead investigator draws the topmost copy of fire. I made a mistake there. I should have drawn one earlier, I think. My apologies. Fire. And it's going to go on the nearest. So for me, the nearest is going to be the Miskatonic Quad. So let's just put that there like that. Okay. Thinking. We're still in the Mythos phase, so I need to draw. Dexter needs to draw a card. He draws extraplanar visions. We've got 2 cards in hand, so it's 2 versus 5, 6. 2 versus 6. 2 versus 6. -3. We're good. 2 versus 6, -3. We are good. We pass. Joe Diamond is going to draw Forbidden Secrets. If you have no clues, it gains Surge. Gains Surge. We're going to get a Bystander. We go to the investigation phase. Ooh. I need to pause now and think about this. Well, I had a little think, and what I'm thinking of doing is staying at the Orne Library for the time being, trying to put the fire out and maybe getting a bit more set up. Servant of Flame is going to come in. He will engage Joe Diamond, who's the lowest agility. I really want Joe back into the Miskatonic quad to be picking up those clues. Dead ends is annoying. So let's start off with Dexter, who's agility 3. Who will attempt to put the fire out. Joe's going to help him by putting in a local map with an agility symbol on it. So I'm now 4 versus 3. That's as good as I can get. 4 versus 3. -3, -4. -4. We don't put it out. That was my first action. Bums. Bums, bums, bums. Second action is to spend 4, so I'm down to 1 to place second sight. I'm going to move my cards off just to the side, and I'll play second sight as my second arcane comes in with 3 charges. 1. I can investigate using willpower to get clues. I can spend a charge to get additional clues. Third action, draw a card. Will of the Cosmos. Place 1 demon on a player card you control, then discover 1 clue at your location and 1 clue at another revealed location. Not the best. That's it for Dexter. Okay. First action for Joe is going to be to try and get rid of this bystander. I'm now, it's an intellect test. So I'm 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 1. 7 versus 1, 0. We win. We can't exhaust Dorothy. That was my first action. Second action, draw a card. We get endurance. That's handy. Third action, I'll pay 2, down to 2, to play endurance. That's it for Joe. Okay. Investigator phase ends. So they're both going to take a damage. 1 direct damage. Oh, God. Dexter takes 1, down to 3. Joe takes 1, down to 3. Oh, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. Not getting rid of that fire was a pain. Go to the enemy phase. Servant of the Flame is going to move down to the Orn Library and he's going to engage Joe Diamond. I'll put him there. Then he's going to attack us for 2 and 2. I'll put both of those onto Henry. We go to the upkeep phase. We ready up. We ready up. We get our actions back. We draw a card. Dexter is going to get guts and gets a resource. Joe is going to get a resilience, okay, and a resource. We go to the mythos phase. We put a doom on the agenda. After doom is placed on the agenda, the lead investigator draws the topmost fire card. Attach the fire card to the nearest location without a fire. So now it's one of these 3. So we're going to put it on the dormitories. Don't need to go back there, I don't think. We draw an encounter card. Dexter is going to get a Hellhound. And Joe is going to get mutated experiment. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness. Not looking good, ladies and gents. Do I resign? Not quite yet. Not quite yet. We go to the investigation phase. Dexter's going to go first. Those fires are going to do me. Those fires are going to do me. Direct damage as well. So first action from Dexter, we're going to fight using the Cosmic Flame. So willpower, 5, 6 versus 2. 6 versus 2. -4. 6 versus 2, we still pass. We will take a charge off of Cosmic Flame to do an additional damage to it. Oh, it's got 3. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So we do 2 damage to it. We will exhaust a charm to move 1 damage. From a card at your location to a card you control. We'll move 1 off of Jim to put it onto the Cloak of Resonance, and I'll deal 1 damage to the Hellhound, which kills it. That was my first action. Second action from Dexter is to move back to the quad. Third action, I'm going to investigate using second sight. So 6 versus 1. 6 versus 1. 0. We are successful. I'll remove a charge from second sight to gain 2 clues. If you succeed, you may spend 1 charge to discover an additional clue at your location. So Dexter's going to get 2 clues. Two clues. I can't spend it because they're not at my location. I was just looking at Blaze of Glory. Spend 2 clues as a group to do 2 damage. I can't do that because there's none at my area. So that's Dexter done. God, what's Jim going to do? Joe, Joe Diamond is in trouble. Well, first of all, I'm going to move his deck out of the way because I'm going to have to create some space. Move that down there. I'm going to spend 3 as a first action. Play Resilience. Dr. Henry Armitage, the first action you perform each round does not provoke attacks of opportunity, so we could do that. Mutated is 3 to evade. Servant of Flame is 4 to evade. I'm going to evade 2. God. I'm struggling. We've got to do 10 damage to the Servant of the Flame. It's fight 4. I'm fight 4. Fight 5 with that. Fight 5. Fight 6. I'm 6 versus 4. No, I think I've got to try and kill the mutated experiment first. So second action, I'm going to fight with my M1911 against the mutated experiment. I'm going to play a bodyguard to give me +1. So I'm 4, 5, 6. 6 versus 3. 6 versus 3. -3. 6 versus 3, -3. I pass. I deal 2 damage to the mutated experiment. Third action, fight again. And now we're just going to be 5 versus 3. Unfortunately. But it is what it is. 5 versus 3. 5 versus 3. -3. We fail. It hasn't got retaliate. Okay, that's it for Joe. Enemy phase. Joe is going to get hit quite badly. Servant of the Flame is going to go 2 and 2. We'll put both of those onto Resilience. Resilience goes. And then we're going to be hit by the mutated experiment, which is 1 and 1. Dorothy is no longer for this world. I think that's the play at this point. That's it for the enemy phase. We go to the upkeep phase. We ready up. We unexhaust any cards. We draw a card. Dexter's going to get a break and an entering, which is no good, and he gets a 3. 1 resource to 3. Joe's going to draw a card. He's going to get a Logan Hastings, and he gets a resource. Can't afford Logan at the minute. Oh, okay. Okay. That's it. We go to the mythos phase. We put a doom on the agenda. We've got a fire. We've got a fire, and the fire's going to go onto the Warren Observatory. We draw a card. Dexter's card is going to be Cosmic Evils. We will put a doom on the agenda. Dexter, Joe is going to get a bystander. Bystander. This is going to be shuffled up. Draw. There we go. We go to the investigation phase. Okay. Okay. I'm going to start off with Dexter. Dexter is going to investigate at the Miskatonic Quad using his second sight. So we are still 6 versus 1. We're still 6 versus 1. Six versus 1. Tablet, -1. Draw another token. 6 versus 1. Oh, -3. So 4 in total. 6 versus 1. We pass. We'll spend a second sight to get 2 clues. One. Two. Oops. That's my first action. Second action is to do the same thing. 6 versus 1. -2. We get it. We'll spend a token off of second sight to get 2 clues. Now, I think I'm going all in. I think I'm going all in. I am going to go all in. Dexter for his last action. Oh no, he's actually, no, because he's got a free action here. Oh, okay. Third action, going to draw a card. We get Oliver Bishop. Okay. Then we're going to use the free trigger on here to move down to the Orn Library. Then what we're going to do is we are going to remove a charge from Lucky Charm. We're going to exhaust it. We're going to move 1 damage or horror from a card at a location you control to a card I control. We're going to move it to Cloak of Resonance. When horror is placed on a Cloak of Resonance, exhaust it and deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. I'll exhaust it. I'll deal 1 damage to mutated horror, mutated experiment, killing it. We take 1 horror. Joe's going to take 1 horror down to 4. We'll put our horror onto Jim Culver. We'll exhaust Jim Culver and we'll draw a card. Guts. Two guts. Oof. Cloak of Resonance is gone because it's got all its 3 sanity on it. That's gone. Then what I'm going to do is, as a free action, a free triggered, I'm going to spend 1 lot of 2 clues, 2 lot of 2 clues, 3 lot of 2 clues to do 6 damage to the Servant of the Flame. My 6 clues are spent. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Oh. Come on, what am I doing here? I think that is Dexter done. We then go on to Joe. His first action is going to be to gain a resource, up to 2. Dr. Henry Armitage, the first action you perform this round does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Second action, I am going to spend an ammo off the M119. I will spend a resource. This is an attack. So I'm getting +2 from endurance. So I'm now at 4, 5, 6. I will chuck a Logan Hastings in to make it a 7 versus 4. A 7 versus 4. Damn it. 7 versus 4. -1. We do 2 damage to it. 1, 2. Third action, I'm going to spend a resource off the M19. I'll spend a resource for endurance. It's an attack, so +2. So 6. Oh, it's +2, yeah. So 4, 5, 6, 7. That would have been 8, actually. 7 versus 4. -1. We do 2 damage to it. 10 damage done to the Servant of the Flame. If the Servant of the Flame is defeated, advance. Your nightmarish pursuer reels back, clutching both hands to their head as if trying to pry their mask off. The sound of sirens in the distance grows louder. You turn to see a gaggle of terrified students rush past you. When you turn your attention back to the flaming nemesis, they have vanished into the air. Read Resolution 1 on page 4. Resolution 1. Mayhem unfolds as dozens of students work together to fight the raging inferno. Your mind races with a flurry of questions. Who was the pursuer? What did the hooded figures patrolling the campus actually want? And where is your friend? Dr. Armitage places one hand on your shoulder, startling you. If we hope to find your friend and their kidnapper, we must leave now. I'll explain everything on the way. You look at the students fighting bravely against the blaze and then at the head librarian. You could stay and help, but it would cost you precious time. In your campaign log, record that the investigator defeated the masked pursuer. Choose an investigator to become the bearer of the Dr. Henry Armitage. I think I'm going to keep it with Joe Diamond. Each investigator earns experience equal to the Victory X display of each card. So the Servant of the Flame is 2. We get 3 bonus experience as they reflect on the knights. They're 5. And then we reflect on the night's events. We've got to decide to stay and fight the fire or proceed where there's no time. I'm going to fight the fire. I am going to fight the fire. Resolution 2. Your eyes sting from the acrid smoke as you work hand in hand with others to quench the hungry flames. You manage to hold the flames at bay until the Arkham Fire Department arrives on the scene. With the situation under control, you hasten to meet up with Dr. Armitage. In your campaign log, record the investigators saved Miskatonic University. Each investigator earns 1 bonus experience and suffers 1 physical trauma as they have sustained burns in the fire. Proceed to scenario 2, smoke and mirrors. So we're going to get 2, 3. So Dexter's going to get 6. And unfortunately, Joe Diamond is going to earn 4 because of dead ends. So 6 and 4 experience to spend for the next scenario, which is smoke and mirrors. Well, there we go. That is it. I really enjoyed that. I have to say. Very tricky. I like Dexter and Joe. Need to do some stuff over here with agility, I think, because I'm fighting with agility. I can invest with agility. I mean, willpower is all good. So I think my 6 experience is going to go on some agility stuff over here, I think. And goodness knows what I'm going to do with Joe. But you'll find out on the next episode or scenario 2, smoke and mirrors. That's been a fairly long one, but these ones always are. I hope you enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you on scenario 2. But that is enough for me. I am going to say ta-da for now.